York is such a diverse place, but I've never seen such a mass amount of people unite almost instantly.
It's football teams, it's fire departments, it's the construction workers down there doing the job. It makes everybody become one.
The one thing I learned in this tragedy was that the United States is alive and kicking.
It's not often you have your heroes honoring you.
For these guys to make a commitment to be there every day, day in and day out, I take my hat off to them. They're the real heroes.
The NFL has football players, but America has heroes. And those heroes are the rescue workers that were down at Ground Zero trying to save lives.
They didn't defeat us. They've just made us stronger.
We'll continue to move forward. We'll stay strong, we'll stay courageous, and we'll become a stronger nation because of the events that have taken place.
I'm proud to be a New York City fireman, and most of all, I'm proud to be an American.
Gotham, the Big Apple. This first night of October 2001, the Empire State Building illuminated in red, white, and blue. The famed and fabled Manhattan skyline forever altered. And 8 miles from Ground Zero, this is Giants Stadium in the Meadowlands of New Jersey, in East Rutherford, where the New York Jets played their first home game since that terrible Tuesday. Mayor Giuliani is here. Governor Pataki of New York is here. And it's a typical sellout crowd as the Jets take on the San Francisco 49ers. I'm Al Michaels, and many of you know that Vinny Testaverde's father was a cement mason who helped to construct the World Trade Center. And Vinny and the Jets were very much at the forefront of the player movement not to have to play games the weekend of September 16th. In fact, all of the players we have talked to in the last 2 weeks were very happy they didn't have to play that weekend. And football players are always facing pressure, but pressure of a different color was faced by the Giants and the Jets when play resumed last weekend. The Giants went to Kansas City in an early game, knocked off the Chiefs, and then when that game was over, the Jets kicked off in Foxborough and defeated New England to help buoy the spirits of their... Back at Giants Stadium, the pregame festivities, which began about 15 minutes ago, have been very moving and will continue now as we join the public address announcer, Rich Kahn.
Fans, at this time, we ask you all to please rise. 3 weeks ago, America's hearts were filled with sorrow. Tonight, America is standing tall. We salute all the heroes who have spent tireless days and nights keeping America's hopes and pride alive. Our hearts, prayers, and thoughts go out to the families and friends of the victims of these tragedies. Please remain standing as we pause for a moment of silence. Thank you. Singing our national anthem this evening is Luther Vandross.
Stadium, East Rutherford, ready for football next. Monday Night Football, the Jets and the 49ers. Pleasant night, temperature low 50s. It's dry. The Jets and the 49ers. Joined now by Dan Fouts and Dennis Miller as always. We take a look, Dan, at the Jets. 2 years ago, it's Bill Parcells. Last year, it's Al Groh. Here we go again. A new coach, Herman Edwards. New offense, new defense.
And the Jet fans are getting a little bit impatient. The one thing that Herman Edwards has is a dual threat, a legitimate dual threat in running back Curtis Martin. He leads the Jets in rushing. He leads the Jets in receiving. He's the type of back that gives the 49ers trouble. And the Jets have such confidence in him. They know when Curtis Martin gets off and has a big night, they're going to win the ballgame.
Had a big day, scored the only touchdown in their win at Foxborough last week. Dennis, end of the third week of play in the NFL. What trends have you spotted?
Well, you know, Al, there is a pervasive trend this year. I think it's a move towards the West Coast offense. Everybody's running it, especially teams on the East Coast. We've had two new West Coast offenses introduced to us in the last 2 weeks. The Washington Redskins last week, and the Jets are going to try. Let's hope they have better luck than the Skins. If I'm not mistaken, I heard that Jeff George signed with the Barcelona Dragons today, where he'll be running the Mediterranean Coast offense this year.
We need to get a description of the West Coast. We'll wait. We'll get Dan to
I have no
take us
idea
through
what
it.
it means. Horace Greeley invented it.
That's right. Let's check in with Melissa Stark.
Al, there are serious bragging rights on the line here tonight. Reuben Carter is the Jets defensive line coach. Andre Carter is the 49ers rookie defensive end. He was their first pick in the draft. Reuben is Andre's father. It is the first time that a father and son have faced each other since 1991. Reuben told Andre before the game, "I am so sorry I had to spank my 22-year-old son tonight, but the Jets are going to get the win."
So we'll keep an eye on Dad and his pup, looking for his first NFL sack as the 49ers kick off, and Jose Cortez, native of El Salvador, with a short kickoff fielded at the 13-yard line. This is Chad Morton. And Morton takes it back up to the 23-yard line, and that's where Vinny and the Jets will take over as we meet the Jet offense.
Vinny Testaverde, University of Miami.
Curtis Martin, University of Pittsburgh. Richie Anderson, Penn State University.
Wayne Corbett, Hofstra University.
Lavonius Cole, FSU.
Anthony Beck, West Virginia University.
Jason Fabini, University of Cincinnati.
Kerry Jenkins, Georgia State University.
Kevin Mawai, LSU.
Brandon Thomas, Mississippi State University.
Ryan Young, Kansas State University.
And the Jets begin at the 22-yard line. They have Curtis Martin lined up in the slot on the first play, slot left. Richie Anderson out of the backfield. So Testaverde empties the backfield, throws on first down, underthrows, and it is an incomplete pass and a flag as well, as Richie Anderson had to go down to short hop it. So Johnny Greer, 16 seconds into the game, will tell us about the first penalty of the night. And it's against San Francisco.
That's like the basic of most basic plays for the Jets there. Anderson had 88 receptions last year, so might see a lot of that tonight.
Illegal hands to the face. Number 30, defense. First down.
Lance Schulters with the penalty. Vinny Testaverde in the two games thus far won a loss to Indianapolis, 45-24 here on opening day, and then the 10-3 win last week at New England. Remember, he tore his Achilles tendon on opening day in '99. Had an up and down year last year. 25 interceptions, the down part of the up and down. From the 27-yard line, Vinny to throw over the middle and through the hands of Anthony Beck, the tight end. Let's take a look at the very young San Francisco defense.
John Engelberger, Virginia Tech.
Brian Young, University of Notre Dame.
Dana Stubblefield, University of Kansas.
Andre Carter, University of California, Berkeley.
Julian Peterson, Michigan State.
Derek Smith, Arizona State University.
Jeff Ulbrich, University of Hawaii. I'm Ned Plummer, The Ohio State University.
Jason Webster, Texas A&M. Lance Schulters, Hofstra University. Zach Brunson, McNeese State University.
49ers trying to rebuild, get back to the glory years, and they are really concentrated on the defensive side of the ball as Martin sees his first action of the night, and he takes it up to the 30-yard line.
A lot of talk about the Jets running the West Coast offense. But what they're really trying to do is find a combination of the West Coast principles that Paul Hackett, who knows it very well because he coached for Bill Walsh in San Francisco, and also what Herman Edwards' Jets do best. We just saw what the Jets do best. They give the ball to number 28, Curtis Martin. They let him feel his way behind this huge, mobile, powerful offensive line.
Yeah, it might be a West Coast offense, but Curtis is a north-south runner. That might be the direction you want to lean on.
3rd down and 7 from the 30-yard line. Fake draw to Martin, and then the pass is incomplete. Good double coverage on the play. Lavernius Coles was there, but covered well, and so the Jets are forced to punt.
That's a big defensive stop for San Francisco. They overcame the penalty on the first play of the game and then held Testaverde down 0 for 2 with his first 2 passes. And for a young defense, that's a huge confidence builder.
Daniel Pope is the Jets' 3rd punter in 3 games. The regular punter, Tom Tupa, who had hernia surgery in the offseason, bothered by a hip injury, active tonight, but Pope does the punting, but probably not for long if he keeps kicking like that. A little shank off the side of his foot, out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Niners take over there, and we check in with Eric Dickerson, ED.
Well, Al, one thing you can expect out of the 49ers tonight is a good play out of the receivers, Terrell Owens and J.J. Stokes. These guys did not play very well last week. They had a lot of drop passes. Now, one thing about Monday night, guys like to showcase because all their peers are watching. One key matchup you can look for is defensive back Aaron Glenn against Stokes and Stokes, because these are 2 big receivers, and I really think this is one advantage that the 49ers do have.
You're right. All those drop balls last week, and they only lost by 4 to the Rams. And on first down, no gain, or a gain of maybe 1 up to the 40-yard line, as we meet the San Francisco offensive unit.
Jeff Garcia, San Jose State.
Garrison Hurst, University of Georgia.
Fred Beasley, Auburn University.
Terrell Owens, University of Tennessee at Chattanooga.
J.J. Stokes, UCLA.
Eric Johnson, Yale University.
Derek Dees, USC.
Leonard Ray Brown Jr., Arkansas State University.
Jeremy Newberg, University of California, Berkeley.
Dave Fury, Hofstra University. Scott Craig, University of Montana Grizzlies.
And after the first play resulted in a 1-yard gain by Hurst, there goes Marvin Jones to sack Jeff Garcia.
And Marvin Jones does not get many sacks, but this is a new pressure defense, a combination of Ted Cottrell's style in Buffalo and what Tony Dungy and Herman Edwards ran in Tampa Bay. That's only the 9th career sack for Marvin Jones. This is scot-free. Nobody blocks him. A huge mistake for the 49er offense.
You hate to be the offensive lineman introducing yourself as Marvin Jones comes up the middle untouched.
3rd down and 16 now. Garcia out of the shotgun. Jets rush 4. Garcia steps up, throws, caught by Owens. And Owens is stopped well short of the first down up at the 43-yard line. Ray Nickens makes the tackle, and San Francisco is 3 and out.
And that's a great defensive stand for the Jets tonight. Get the big sack from Marvin Jones, sets up a 3rd and long. Ted Cottrell's got to be very happy with that pressure, bringing the blitz right up the middle. Then they play zone behind it on the next play. Let Owens catch the short pass, come up and make the tackle.
Jason Baker is the San Francisco punter. He's a rookie from Iowa. That's Chad Morton to run it back. Line of scrimmage is the San Francisco 44. High floating kick. Fair catch called for at the 12-yard line. The Jets will set up shop there on their 2nd possession of the night. We played 3:06 at the Meadowlands. The 49ers and the Jets, no score. Down at the 12-yard line. Start with an empty backfield, then move Anderson behind Testaverde, and then he throws over the middle into traffic and completes it to Anthony Beck, one of their first-round draft choices. They had 4 last year. And on the subject of draft choices, guys, you look at the 49ers. Last year, they drafted 4 defensive players in the first 2 rounds. They're all starting tonight.
They took a beating last year. You know, the fans were on them. The biggest improvement has to be from the 2 corners, Jason Webster and Ahmed Plummer. Both of them held up very well last week against the Rams.
2nd down and 2 from the 20-yard line. Martin cuts it back. And good pursuit. That's John Engelberger, one of the young guys. Engelberger second-year player out of Virginia Tech, drafted in the second round last year. And there it is. Peterson has been hurt, but he's back in tonight, and Plummer in the first round. Engelberger, who made that last play, and Webster, the cornerback, in the second round. And their mentor is Jim Mora Jr., whose dad, of course, is the coach of the Indianapolis Colts.
Well, you used to be able to wait for a player to mature to his third year, Al, but in the cap strap climbs in which we live in the NFL today, you've got to get stuff out of your second-year men, and Plummer, Webster, and Engelberger are giving it to him.
Third down and 5. From the 19-yard line, Testaverde throws, and that's Corbett reaching up to make the catch, and has enough with a first down.
That's where Wayne Corbett is so good. You know, he's not very tall. He's about, they say he's 5'10". Dennis, I think you're taller than Wayne Corbett. Watch how high he goes for this one. And the good thing is when he comes down, he's got the first down. So he knows that he ran the pattern deep enough to pick up the first down. All he had to concentrate on was making a catch of a high throw.
Yeah, but you know, Dan, I'm wearing stiletto heels.
Yeah, you are.
From the 24-yard line. A little flip out to Martin, and Curtis close to a first down before he is dragged down by the linebacker Julian Peterson.
Not using Curtis like we're used to seeing him used tonight. It's usually just a hand it off and let him buck up in there, but they're using it in different ways tonight.
He gets a nice block on the outside from Lavernius Coles right there. That occupies Parker. And then it's enough for the first down. But Dennis, you're absolutely right. I mean, Curtis Martin, usually we see him in the tailback I formation. We've seen him a number of times split out wide, and Vinny is finding him with the mismatch.
Already caught 10 balls in 2 games, plus part of a quarter. On first down now, this is Martin, a little razzle-dazzle, a lot of motion and movement and fake handoffs, and at the end of it, they gain 2 yards.
Well, they've obviously got to find some different ways to use Curtis, because nobody's carried the ball more over the last 7-8 years in this league than him. And quite frankly, to keep him fresh at the end of the year, they've got to try some of these different tacks with him. Also, they've brought Lamont Jordan in, the rookie from Maryland, and he should take some carries away from him. Keep him fresh for those playoffs if they make it.
That's what Edwards hopes to be able to do. Easier said than done, though. Second down and 9. And this time it's Anderson, and he runs right into the heart of the 49er defense and stopped for no gain. Ronnie Hurd comes up to help out. Talking about the workload of Curtis Martin since 1995, there it is in terms of rushing yardage. Only Emmitt Smith with more yardage than Martin, and Ricky Waters would be third.
And I believe you invert those two for carries. I think Curtis does have a few more carries than that.
8 minutes to go. Opening quarter with no score. On 3rd and 9, Vinny rolling, looking, throwing deep. Corbett has to turn around, makes a great adjustment, and makes the catch in bounds at the 31-yard line.
Nobody makes the adjustment on a ball thrown over the wrong shoulder better than Corbett. This is just like last year against Miami and against New England on Monday night. Vinny just throws the ball down the field, and watch Corbett looking over his inside shoulder, spins and looks over the right shoulder, makes the catch under pressure. Huge play for the Jets. What confidence Testaverde has in Corbett's ability to adjust to the ball in the air.
So let me get this straight. They're putting Curtis Martin out wide, and Vinny's going to roll out this year for the Jets. Okay.
That's a 34-yard gain on a 3rd and 9 play. And finding the seam and exploiting it all the way down to the 22 goes Martin, and he's tackled by Webster.
Well, the Jets are going to run against these undersized defensive ends of the 49ers. That time it was Jason Fabini working against Andre Carter, the rookie, #1 pick from California. Watch the patience, though, by Martin. Stop, go. First down, Jets. Andre Carter goes about 255 pounds. There he's got the tight end working on him. That's Anthony Beck, who's about 275 pounds.
And on the other side, Ryan Young's got 60 pounds on John Engelberger.
That's where the Jets will run the ball tonight.
2nd and 1. Martin, and he gets tripped up just about at the line of scrimmage. Ahmed Plummer comes up from the corner. So the Jets moving. They began this drive, their second of the night, back at their own 12-yard line.
It just makes sense to run at the youngsters who are undersized on the ends. When you look inside on that 49er defense. You see a solid middle linebacker in Derek Smith and two outstanding defensive tackles in Dana Stubblefield and Bryant Young. Stubblefield is much happier here in San Francisco. So is Bryant Young, having his old running partner alongside.
You don't think Stubblefield really wants to be back in Washington right about now? Third and a short one from the 22. Martin gets the first down at the 19-yard line. He's tackled by Derek Smith.
Now, this is really a big, powerful offensive line that the Jets have, anchored by Kevin Mawai. He can hold his own up front against both Young and Stubblefield. But what an advantage. That's big Jason Fabini there. Watch as Mawai just lets Stubblefield go and get in on the middle linebacker, and it's too late for Derek Smith to make the tackle.
At the 19, they send Coles in motion. First time they have shown this formation. And Benny guns it inside the 5. Is it caught? No, it's not. Anthony Beck never had possession. It's incomplete. The coverage by Ahmed Plummer.
Well, that's two balls that Beck has not been able to pull in tonight. That would have been a touchdown. Fine throw by Testaverde, because he's thrown to a guy who's 6'5", so you want to throw the ball up high. There it is, and he can't make the catch. Plummer, no match physically for Anthony Beck, but maybe that left hand got in there and bothered him.
Yeah, Plummer played it out all the way to the end, and he might have just nicked it at the last second.
Second and 10 now at the 19. Centrobet in motion. Here's Martin. Bounces his way to the 17-yard line.
You know, Dan, you're talking about that powerful offensive line for the Jets, and they don't have one first-round draft pick amongst them. I sometimes think that everyman lineage helps them build a certain esprit de corps, that they're just working-class heroes. I think Don Cherry used to call it lunch pail AC.
Yeah, and they're young, Dennis. Mawai is an 8th-year veteran, but Fabini's 4 years, Jenkins 4, Randy Thomas, right guard, is 3, and Ryan Young, right tackle, is a 3-year guy.
Third down and 8 from the 17-yard line. Testaverde throwing outside. It's caught there by Coles. He's down to the 6. It'll be first and goal.
Vinny looks pretty comfortable in this offense, eh, Dan?
Well, this offense is based on rhythm and timing. You notice how Vinny got back with his 5-step drop. Knew he had Coles single covered on the outside. He's looking at it all the way, too. Good read by Testaverde. Beautiful throw. If Coles doesn't slip on this wet field, he might have spun back to the inside and got in the end zone.
First and goal at the 6. Long drive for the Jets. It began at its 12-yard line. And it's Martin. And he gets out of the backfield, but just for a gain of 1. Bryant Young is the first man to hit him, and there's Derek Smith as well.
This playbook of Paul Hackett's, the fans were getting on the Jets a little bit because they've been so conservative, but he's using a lot of different formations tonight. He's getting the mismatches on the outside. Richie Anderson becomes so valuable in this situation down here because he has the skills to be a running back, but also to get out wide or get in motion and create a mismatch and make the catch for the score.
Second and goal, 15th play of a drive that has now gone close to 9 minutes and will be interrupted momentarily by a penalty. Bryant Young came across the line.
I think I saw 97 jump out. I didn't have the glasses on it.
97.
Yeah.
Defense.
See?
Still second down.
No sophomore jinx for you, baby.
No, I'm all over it. I saw it.
Boy, this really changes the play selection for the Jets now. They can do any number of things. It appears that they're going to go with an extra tight end here, bringing in David Laverne. So now it's second down. They can set up their play action. They can run the power to Curtis Martin. They feel that they have the size advantage here, so they might just want to pound it in.
They've got Laverne at the fullback position, don't they?
There he is.
Second and goal. Here's Martin. He's in. Touchdown.
You know, they call that their jumbo offense when they put him in at fullback, and oddly enough, they usually throw out of that. Kidding.
Yeah, they say Laverne's 299 pounds, but let's call him a 300-pound fullback. There he is right there, as you saw, Dennis. He's going to meet Derek Smith right in the hole, no contest. And the great thing is he caved Smith down. He knew Curtis was going to go up over the top. Great read, and just barely in for the score.
John Hall for the conversion.
Shades of the refrigerator.
9 minutes, 22 seconds, 88 yards go the Jets from their own 12 all the way to the end zone, and they converted all 4 third. Saturday college football regional action here on ABC. Third-ranked Oklahoma against Texas, and then Michigan meets Penn State. So check your local listings for the game in your area.
Hope Joe Paul wins a couple this year. Hate to see him go out like that, huh?
Yeah. Vinny Sutherland is back to receive the kick. John Hall. He sent it toward the south end zone. Angled kick fielded by Sutherland from the 7. Runs parallel along the 20 and then takes it all the way back up to the 32. 25-yard return. So Martin goes in for the score for the Jets, culminating this 9-minute drive from the ump can. Here goes Curtis to give the Jets the lead. Ground zero. The blue glow outlining the site where obviously they work around the clock, and the governor of New York, who's been masterful in these most difficult 20 days, George Pataki, is at the Meadowlands tonight watching the New York Jets lead 7-0 against the San Francisco 49ers with Kevin Barlow, the rookie from Pittsburgh, in the backfield now, the running back. We'll get our first look at Barlow, and we'll look at him immediately, and it's a pretty good look, isn't it? Out to the 46-yard line, tackled by Victor Green. They really like this kid.
And they're going to like running right up the middle against the Jets. The Jets are using their third different combination of defensive tackles. Shane Burton is starting tonight, along with Steve Martin. And the 49ers are going to go right up the middle. Fred Beasley with a nice lead block. Scott Gregg had nobody to block on the outside. That's a wonderful first carry of the night for a rookie, Kevin Barlow.
15 yards for Barlow, who, like Curtis Martin, went to Pitt. Garcia gets decked as he throws, but he gets it away, and that's Justin Swift picking up 8. And let's take a look at the Jets' defense.
Sean Ellis, University of Tennessee. Shane Burton, University of Tennessee.
Steve Martin, University of Missouri. John Abraham, University of South Carolina.
Mo Lewis, University of Georgia. Marvin Jones, Florida State University.
James Ferrier, University of Virginia. Aaron Glenn, Texas A&M University.
Marcus Coleman, Texas Tech University.
Victor Green, Akron University. Damian Robinson, University of Iowa.
Robinson coming over from Tampa Bay, where he played under Herman Edwards, as Barlow takes the ball for a first down to the New York 41-yard line.
You know, the great thing about the 4-3 for the Jets, Al, is they can get both the kids out on the ends again, Abraham and Ellis, and they can both come shooting off that corner, particularly Abraham, who might follow Gastineau, Klecko, Jerry Philbin in the great history of Sackers here in New York.
And the other guy who loves playing in the 4-3 is James Farrier, who had a big interception last week at New England. He's been playing in the 3-4, but he is really shining now, number 58, in the new Herman Edwards alignment. From the 42-yard line on first down, Garcia sets up the screen. Barlow, some nifty little running there, not much happening, but he made the most of it. Takes it to the 36 for a gain of 6. And Steve Mariucci, in his 5th season as the 49er head coach, will watch the clock tick down as the first quarter will come to an end. The Jets marched 88 yards and lead after 1. It's the Jets 7 and the San Francisco 49ers nothing. And ABC's Monday Night Football returns after this from our ABC stations.
He can do it all. Inside order.
Home, it's the Rams and the Detroit Lions next week on Monday night. Start the second quarter, 2nd and 4. They give the ball to Barlow inside the 30, inside the 20, all the way to the 11-yard line.
Well, he was going to spell Garrison Hurst, but he keeps running like that. Garrison will be spelling him.
He had his longest run as a pro with his first carry. This is a beauty. Gets out behind Dave Fiore and Fred Beasley there. Missed tackle by Marvin Jones. And then all the way down to the 10-yard line. Kevin Barlow really picking up this 49er offense on the ground.
Damian Robinson, when lifting off, the free safety Chris Hayes in his spot now. 1st and 10 just outside the 10. They can get a first down without a touchdown. Here's Barlow, and he falls down. He slips. What about a rookie running back in the West Coast offense? Eric, what do you think?
Well, one thing about the West Coast offense, Al, it's a very difficult offense to know. I think that the rookie running back won't have any problems running the football, but if they go to passing the football, he has to know his blitz pickups. Now, if the Jets are going to blitz, they should blitz when they're trying to throw the football. Now, Dan, you know how important it is for a running back to know who to pick up and what hot routes to break it off on.
Well, absolutely, Eric. All you have to do is ask Steve Young. Lawrence Phillips missed Aeneas Williams. Williams knocked Young out and ended his career.
On 2nd and 9, here's Barlow. Breaking tackles, and then he gets to the 6-yard line. Tackled there by Chris Hayes, who's playing in place of the injured Robinson.
And this was Eric was talking about. Aeneas Williams is 35, and Lawrence Phillips is the running back on this play. He did not block Aeneas Williams. And a tremendous blow to Steve Young because a running back missed his pass protection assignment. That's what's going to be difficult for Kevin Barlow.
And that, unfortunately and ingloriously, was the last play of Steve Young's career.
Yep.
Garrison Hurst is back in the game now. There he is on 3rd and 5 from the 6, and he stays in the block. At least they get a chip, and they get it to Owens, and he's in for the touchdown. So in a passing situation, they bring Hurst in to help out on the blocking scheme, and Owens puts it in.
And they lined up Owens at fullback, and he ran a crossing route. Garcia was looking for him the whole way, and that's a smart move. Terrell Owens coming out of the backfield on a linebacker, using that great size, 6'3", 225 pounds, a lot of strength. Greg Knapp, offense coordinator's got to be extremely happy. Look at Owens, not to be denied, gets across the plane for a 49er touchdown.
Terrell's first touchdown of the season. Jose Cortez to boot it through. And so the 49ers answer the Jets' 88-yard drive with a long one of their own, 69 yards, 8 plays with 12:54 to the half at the Meadowlands, 7-7. They train in Hempstead, Long Island. Play their games here. They have since 1984, sharing this facility, of course, with the Giants. Completely different season ticket base.
Well, they're back in their groove, too. They booed the new punter when he shanked that punt.
Here's Cortez kicking off. Chad Morton, last year with New Orleans, the brother of Johnny Morton of the Detroit Lions, brings it back to the 25-yard line. Tackled there by Jamie Winborn. Vinny and the Jets back out onto the field. 12:45 to the half.
I have this patient who claims to come.
Chad Morton, who ran the kickback. He was acquired from New Orleans, second-year player to run back kicks. Came in with a bad ankle, and we'll get a report on exactly what this is.
Well, he was the fallback position after Santana Moss is put out till midseason as the punt return. He was doing a nice job, but now it looks like his ankle's shot.
Good point. Santana Moss hurt in preseason. They hope to have him back in the middle of the year. On first down, Vinny airs it out.
Oh, Vinny, yes!
Caught by Coles. Lavernius Coles pulls it in at the San Francisco 35-yard line.
Wow, perfect pass by Vinny, and Coles has been a revelation to the Jets this year.
Vinny is a great long ball thrower. He'll be able to extend this West Coast offense as he looks for Coles, who just goes wide and outruns Ahmed Plummer. Nice little shove there. It doesn't get called. That ball was perfectly thrown.
Cole's very similar body type to Corbett. They wanted to go with the bigger 6'2" Matthew Hatchett, but he didn't come through, and Coles has just been great all season so far.
Coles beat him out, plain and simple.
39-yard pass play, the Jets' longest pass play of the season. And here's Richie Anderson taken down at the 33-yard line by Lance Schulters.
Heck of a tackle by Lance Schulters, because if Anderson gets around the corner, he's got a couple of those big offensive linemen ready to take him for big yardage. But Schulters has got to be fired up. One of the many Hofstra pride playing tonight. A couple for 49ers, David Fiore, and of course Wayne Crabette of the Jets from Hofstra. It's almost like an alumni game.
We got 3 Hofstra guys?
Yeah, more than USC, Ohio State, Notre Dame.
2nd down and 7. Vinny buys time, but then has to throw it away. Intended for Crabette. 3rd down.
Andre Carter got great pressure. That forced Vinny to roll out and throw the ball too high for Wayne Crabette. Andre Carter still looking for his first sack in the NFL, working against Jason Fabini right here. Watch the speed. It's actually working against James Dirth, reserve tight end. That's a mismatch that Carter will take every day.
Interesting anomaly on that play. Usually people who come from Berkeley go to the left.
Houston. 3rd and 7 at the 33. Some of them have told me they've seen the light. Just chugs his way down to the 32-yard line, but he's still shy of the 1st down, and the crowd, of course, already imploring the Jets to go for it.
Great evidence there that Curtis Martin is not a fumbler, because they really tried to hatchet the ball out there.
Yeah, you saw one of those big right arms come swiping down, but what that run did is it gave Herman Edwards the chance to get John Hall in the game. Hall had a 58-yard field goal in preseason. And out tonight, no wind here at the Meadowlands. How many times you've been here and not had any wind at all?
Very unusual. Martin took it to the 27, so you have a 45-yard attempt, but Hope will hold for Hall for the first time. The newly acquired punter. Did they get it away? I don't think they did. I think the play clock was at 0. Indeed it was. Delay of game.
Snap. Delay. Offense.
And that delay goes right on the shoulders of Herman Edwards. He makes the decision whether they go for it or whether they kick the field goal. He took too much time deciding to get Hall on the field.
And that is a very big delay of game for a couple of reasons. It makes a 45-yard field goal a 50-yarder with a first-time holder. It really takes you out of not necessarily the possibility of going for a 1st down, but it would be a 4th and 7 instead of a 4th and 2. And if he misses the field goal, the 49ers get it 5 yards farther upfield.
I think this helps Hall. His percentage on the long ones is better than 40 to 49. He missed 11 last year. A lot of them in that 40 to 49 era.
But the other thing you got to think about when you have a long kick like this is that Hall has to drive the ball. So he doesn't kick it quite as high. Gives the 49ers more opportunities to block it.
And if he misses it, San Francisco will get the ball at its own 40-yard line.
He'll make this. He's got a hero mentality.
50-yard attempt.
Good now, 38. Don't be running there.
10.5 to go in the half. This to give the Jets the lead. Good snap, good hold, and then the kick is partially blocked.
Was my mic breaking up when I said I didn't think he'd make this one?
That wasn't you. That was some other guy.
Did it come out garbled?
Got to put you on 7-second delay. Still 7-7. Playoff teams, and we'll elaborate in a second as the Niners start from the 40-yard line and give the ball to Fred Beasley. Earlier this evening, I talked to Mark Morial, who is the mayor of New Orleans, and he told me we are 99% sure the Super Bowl will be in New Orleans on the 3rd of February. Right now, it's in the hands of the National Automobile Dealers Association. Phil Brady is the president. Mayor Morial said he hopes to be able to have an official announcement by tomorrow, but he said we are on the 1-yard line, ready to push the ball into the end zone to have a Super Bowl in New Orleans a week later. On 2nd down and 9, Garcia throws underneath, caught by Hurst, and Garrison has a 1st down as he takes it to the 45.
Well, that's the mayor and the car dealers, Al. What's the league say?
The league is fairly quiet, but reading between the lines, it seems pretty obvious to me that the Super Bowl will be played on the 3rd, which also means the 2nd week, the postponed week of the season, becomes the 1st weekend in January. The wild card is then moved forward a week, as are all of the other playoff games, and they'll simply play the entire 16-game schedule, and the playoffs will go as was originally constructed, except a week later.
They're tight with tags. Get him on the phone. Ask him what's happening.
He's here tonight from the 45-yard line. Here is Hurst.
Having the entire playoff schedule, I know both of these teams will be very happy to hear that news, because both of these teams are probably not going to win their division. But they both have the opportunity now to get into the playoffs, and you never know what happens.
That's a good point, because the 49ers play in a division with the Rams, who clearly would be the favorites in the NFC West. And the Jets play in a division with Indianapolis. Of course, the Colts looked a heck of a lot better before yesterday's game.
Right. Yeah, they're in the same division with the Patriots.
They're jinxed up there in New England.
2nd and 7 from the 42. Here is Hurst, and he takes it to the 32, and that's a first down. Let's check in with Melissa.
Al, a couple of injury updates. Chad Morton was carted off the field a few minutes ago. He suffered a right leg injury. That's all they're saying at this point. He's undergoing x-rays. We'll let you know when we have those results. And as for Damian Anderson, he twisted his left ankle. They taped it up, and he's obviously, Damian Robinson, and he's obviously back in the game.
And there he is at his free safety spot. Herman Edwards was the defensive backfield coach at Tampa Bay last year, and Robinson was a free agent at Tampa Bay. So we brought Robinson in as almost an unofficial assistant coach of sorts. Garcia hit as he throws, but he gets it away. It's caught at the 30 by Hurst. And Garrison, coming back after that horrible ankle injury 2 years ago, and it looked like his career might be over, takes it to the 28-yard line.
And Garcia is just a magician at finding Garrison Hurst, looking downfield, and he's got a real bad habit, and he likes to jump up in the air and throw passes, and he takes some unbelievable hits.
That time Steve Martin with his white suit.
Good start for Garcia. Wow.
Perfect 7 and 7, 2nd down and 5. And this is Hurst taking it to the 27. You think about Garrison Hurst coming back from that injury and then being pushed in a way by Kevin Barlow, and Steve Mariucci told us last night he might alternate these guys series for series. Barlow, of course, looked very good earlier, and Barlow in his own way might be fueling Garrison a little bit here.
Well, it is a stirring comeback for Hurst, because I think he had vascular necrosis in that foot, which, if I'm not mistaken, is the thing that took Bo Jackson out of his career, right?
Similar.
He had it in his hip.
3rd and 4 from the 27-yard line. Short drop. Garcia is the team's leading rusher coming into the game and takes it to the 20-yard line. So Jeff is very mobile. He can run, as he proves right there, and he picks up 7. Went to San Jose State. Almost no interest in him coming out of college. Wound up going to Canada. Played very well for Calgary. In fact, early in his career with Calgary, he was a teammate of Doug Flutie. But Bill Walsh was always in his corner, and here's a guy who now eclipses Montana and Young last year in the record book. Most yards ever by a 49er quarterback.
Well, that just tells me Montana and Young were way overrated.
Yeah, right.
First, and John Brody and Y.A. Tittle and Frankie Albert as well. This is Hurst picking up 2.
You know, Garcia is very excited about this opportunity to show the rest of the nation all about him. He's not the biggest guy in the league, but his stats last year were big enough to get him to the Pro Bowl and set those 49er records. But, you know, he really fits the mold of the West Coast quarterback. And the thing I love about him, he displays the skills of a fearless runner, always going head first, and he's very accurate throwing on the run.
Well, I don't think Mooch was sold on him first when he came down, but if you have Bill Walsh's stamp of imprimatur, certainly you deserve a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th look from the head coach.
2nd down and 7. 2 fakes, 2 pump fakes, and then he goes to Eric Johnson, and the Yaley takes it to the 7-yard line. The rookie out of Yale, who was a wide receiver in New Haven, caught 21 balls in one game. Tight end now with the 49ers, and it's 1st and goal.
Garcia, in homage to New York, did a couple Pearl Monroe spin moves there before he picked out the tight end.
Let's check it out. The fake of the screen to the left, the fake of the screen to the right, and then the delay to the tight end over the middle. Watch the missed tackle, though, by the Jets. Marvin Jones had a shot, and Johnson couldn't bring him down.
From the 8-yard line, they give it to Hurst. Nicely designed play, takes it to the 3. Remember, this drive started at the San Francisco 40-yard line, and it started there because the Jets opted to go for a 50-yard field goal and missed it, so it comes back to the spot where the ball was missed.
And Bobby Setzer, a first-year guy from Boise State, at 6'4", got his hand up and deflected that field goal try by John Hall. But you know what? Hall didn't make the field goal from 47 when they were called for delay of game.
Normally, the league average is 4.0 or 4.1 for rushes. You see the Niners averaging 6.2. And this is Beasley trying to tunnel his way into the end zone and gets it to the 1 and maybe inside.
Moving the pile there, Mr. Beasley.
They're running behind Ray Brown, who's in his 16th year, over that left side right next to Derek Deese. This is the first time in a long time for the 49ers that they've returned the exact same offensive line this year. Deese is playing with a bad thigh, or rather a bad right calf, but he doesn't seem like it's hurting him any, as they're overpowering the Jets up front right now.
Brown started his career as a St. Louis Cardinal in the 80s. 3rd and goal. Garcia rolling, trying to get into the end zone, reaching, no signal yet. He is short. Mo Lewis makes the tackle. Garcia said, come on, I got it in. Well, if he did, and we'll take a look at the replay, and the guys upstairs might call down to Mariucci, well, we could have a challenge. They're going to wait for the replay, and here it is.
And the question is, where are his knees when the ball gets to the goal line? Well, I tell you what, if Marvin Jones isn't in the way there, we get a real good look at this, because his knees aren't down. The nose of that ball may have broken the plane. Remember, he just has to reach the line. I think that little bit of divot brought him up a little short.
Well, no challenge and not even going for it. Inside the 1, Cortez with a chip shot field goal, and that's just good inside the right upright. So they're at the 1-inch line.
Boy, and they've been
surprised.
Dominating up front. Why not go for it with just an inch to go?
10-7 San Francisco.
Fantastic.
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down.
These are 8 carats, and these are 10 carats.
Make it a
Subway in Manhattan. Can't take the subway to the Meadowlands, but you can't get here through public transportation, which was the best way probably for a lot of folks to get here tonight. Panthers 49ers Sunday on ESPN. Our Monday night game, of course, is Detroit hosting St. Louis. This is Lavernius Coles because Morton is hurt, running back the kick, and he almost breaks it all the way. At the 37, perhaps a touchdown saving tackle by Anthony Parker. 2:08 to the half, and the 49ers lead by a field goal. Monday Night Football is being brought to you by Ford, America's #1 choice. Verizon Wireless, join in. Bandits, a new film from MGM starring Bruce Willis, and Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down. Make it a Bud Light. Well, Dan, we expressed our surprise, and I'm still kind of shocked that the 49ers did not opt to go for it inside the 1-yard line.
And Barlow, when he was in the ballgame, got 44 yards rushing, and Garrison Hurst was equally effective when he was carrying the ball.
And the downside is if you don't make it, you still make the Jets go 99 yards, and Vinny Testaverde gets sacked on the corner blitz by Jason Webster.
Well, Jim Mora opening up the defensive playbook, and Testaverde had no idea that Webster was coming off the corner, coming off the slot when he was covering Wayne Forbett, got the big sack, number 36.
2 minutes to the half.
The new Explorer's 3rd generation at the end.
got too low for that 5. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light.
That's not that bad.
I think if any place is going to bounce back, it's going to be New York. If you keep thinking that everything is tragic and letting this whole situation get you down, and then they defeated you.
I think it's the greatest place in the world to live.
Coming up, the Toyota halftime report. We'll take a look at sports and New York City, and how the home teams have helped the city's finest and just the general populace helped to cope with that terrible Tuesday. Rams and Lions meet next week. We'll take a little preview look at that as well on the Toyota halftime report.
Do you really want to go up against Kurt Warner as the Lions with cornerbacks named Light and Fair? Do you really want to do that?
They will next week.
They have no choice.
Boy, they look awesome, and it looks like Martz has pulled that defense together, huh?
That's really been the key for the Rams, is that defense. They're playing with a lot more confidence, and they're making plays, something they couldn't do last year.
2 minutes to go. Niners lead by 3. It's 2nd and 17. Then he fakes the screen, tries to set up another screen, and the 49ers break that up over the middle.
Did not get the same results as Mr. Garcia did a couple sets back.
Needed one more pump fake.
No, one more pump there.
Now, Vinny's always had trouble with the pirouette.
Yes.
Big difference for Vinny running the hurry-up offense as opposed to last year where he was so effective calling his own plays. Herman Edwards and Paul Hackett, they want Vinny to get the play from the sidelines, and when he does make the first down, to kill the ball with by spiking it, and then instead of just calling his own plays and going down the field.
3rd and 17. They have to get to their own 47. They keep it on the ground, and Martin picks up 10. He gets tripped up. He is stopped at the 40-yard line, and it's 4th and long.
And now the Jets must punt. And that's something that has been an Achilles heel for Herman Edwards. Tupa had a terrible game last week, and Pope's first punt tonight was horrible.
And the Niners take a timeout to conserve the Jets. That's Daniel Pope, now becoming the 2nd team in league history using a different punter in each of the first 3 games. There's Tom Tupa, active tonight but not punting. The only other team was the Dolphins in '87, and you put an asterisk next to that one because one of those punters came during a replacement game because of the strike or the work stoppage at the 12-yard line. It's fair caught by Vinny Sutherland. Let's go to Melissa.
Now, many players have pregame rituals, and Terrell Owens is no exception. His grandmother, Alice, who raised him in Alabama, recently developed Alzheimer's, and she is in a retirement home. Owens carries Alice's picture to every game and sits it up in his locker as a reminder of his childhood and what she meant to him. And along with it, he carries these purple beads that Alice won playing bingo. He says they bring him good luck.
Well, Owens with good luck so far tonight, scoring the only 49er touchdown. Splits to the right. Niners at their own 13. Start on the ground. Give it to Terry Jackson. And Jackson, normally a 3rd down back special teams guy, makes his first carry of the night out to the 28-yard line.
Well, you know, Charlie Garner took his 1,100 yards across the bay, but the offensive line's still here, and they've got 4 consecutive years with a 1,000-yard runner.
They would have loved to have kept Garner, but for the salary cap, he goes to Oakland, and Terry Jackson makes the catch here. So a run and a grab up to the 36. The Niners, with the clock ticking down, have 2 timeouts.
Terry Jackson showing what a football player he is on the ground and through the air, but also great pass protector.
2nd and 2. Draw. Jackson. Now he takes it out to the 44-yard line, and the Niners will take a timeout here. They're 2nd. So they have 1 remaining with 56 ticks left at the Meadowlands in the first half. San Fran by 3. Pays your salary, baby. From the 44-yard line, out of the shotgun. Ooh. Look out. Garcia steps up, avoids the sack, and gets it away. That was James Farrier coming in off the corner, forcing the first incompletion of the night for Garcia.
Garcia, like Montana there, Dano. He steps up in the pocket, avoids that first man.
Well, watch Farrier come right this way. Again, another Jet linebacker totally unblocked. How does Garcia get away from that? You know what he did is he saw him coming, so he lowered his shoulder, gave Farrier a small target, and got the ball away. Great play by Garcia. Farrier's got to bury him, though.
2nd and 10 at the 44. Garcia throwing underneath, caught by Hurst, coming out of the backfield. He takes it to the 47-yard line, a little short of the first down. So it's 3rd down, 1 now. Niners don't want to use their timeout here. Can't really spike the ball here. They have to run a play. 3rd and a short two, and Garcia takes a long time and then tries to sneak for a first down and appears to have it. And now they can take their timeout, and they have to. They can't even unpile, and Mariucci is upset because they couldn't unpile and get Garcia up to the line to spike it there. They would have taken too much time off the clock.
I think we've got a Niner down.
Jeremy Newberry is down, Dennis. He's the center. Garcia went right over his back. The Jets crowded the line of scrimmage, and this is a big injury for the 49ers if Newberry can't play. They come into the game with just 8 offensive linemen. They just picked up Dave Costa. This is Ben Lynch, another UC Berkeley grad. You see what he's looking at? He's looking at his buddy Jeremy, 62, right in the middle there. And a lot of bodies, a lot of big bodies falling down on Jeremy Newberry, 62 from the ump cam. Oh my, that looks like a left leg injury if I ever saw one. Then he gets bent over backwards. Looks like he was surprised by Garcia's quarterback sneak there.
You can just see him screaming in agony as he peels back there.
Normally the center will get a lot lower, so he doesn't have that problem.
To take his place.
And who helps him off the field? 2 offensive linemen.
Here was the Jets' first touchdown of the night. That's Curtis Martin taking it in. That gave them a 7-0 lead. Owens was able to tie the game for the 49ers, and then San Francisco opted on a 4th and goal from inside the 1 to kick a field goal. And right now that's the difference in the game. But the Niners with a big problem in the middle right now as they go to Ben Lynch, picked up in 1999 out of the University of California, free agent. Newberry went to Cal as well, was drafted in the 2nd round in '98.
And you go back to when the 49ers opted to kick that field goal. They were an inch away from the end zone, but the play before went with Garcia on a designed rollout where he was going to run that ball all the way. And 2 interesting decisions by Steve Mariucci. The 49ers only have a 3-point lead.
3-point lead, no timeouts left. 1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Going deep for Owens, and too deep, and nearly picked off. It was Marcus Coleman back there.
Marcus Coleman, who loves playing on Monday nights, Dennis. Remember the 3 picks he got against the Dolphins?
Yeah, he's a prime-time player.
Yeah, should have made that catch. That ball was right on his fingertips. He knows that the Niners are going deep. Just misjudged that ball.
Yeah,
He'll be thinking about that one in his sleep tonight.
Well, Garcia just led him a little too far.
Now you're forced almost to work the sidelines here, because even if you complete one down the middle, it's going to be tough to spike it and stop the clock. 2nd and 10. And Garcia stepping up, looking outside, throws, caught. Owens steps out at the 36. So if they opt for a field goal here, it would be about 54 yards. And they have the young kicker in Jose Cortez.
Well, he had a 52-yarder, Cortez did last week.
He did at 3Com, the Candlestick Park, and that's the longest at that facility in 9 years.
Yeah, 52-yarder at 3Com knee Candlestick. It's probably worth a 60-yarder here. Although this is rough turf too, it might be akin to Candlestick.
No wind though, not tonight here at the Meadowlands.
Again, they have to work the outside to be able to stop the clock. Garcia does, and that's a nice grab by Ty Streets to turn around, make the catch, get out of bounds. That picks up 4 and turns a 53-yarder into maybe a 49-yarder now. Line of scrimmage is the 31.
You got to love Garcia's court awareness, don't you, Dano? He really has all the nuances of a field leader. Knows exactly how much time he has to get it out of bounds.
Now you put a 1-6 on the back of that jersey, and he could confuse some people. But Cortez has the same problem here with a long field goal. Got to kick it lower. He's got to drive that ball. Susceptible to getting blocked.
From El Salvador, moved to this country when he was 13, went to Oregon State, 49 yards. And the kick is good. Ole is now 7 for 7. Jose Cortez bangs it through as the half concludes. And Dave Fiore, another of the offensive linemen, shaken up as the half concludes, and he'll hobble off the field. There he is. They've already lost Newberry, but they have the lead. Coming up next, the Toyota halftime report. New York athlete and the general populace.
You know, I grew up watching the World Trade Centers being built, and you know, when this tragedy happened, it kind of ripped.
Ladies and gentlemen, like many Americans, NFL players around the league have shown their support through financial contributions, blood drives, and other fundraising activities for the families victimized by the tragic events of September 11th. Tonight, Vinny Testaverde and Kevin Mawae of the Jets, Tiki Barber and Michael Strahan of the Giants, and Ray Brown and Lance Schulters of the 49ers are presenting a $500,000 check to the New York Police and Fire Widows and Children's Fund. As a group, NFL players so far have pledged more than $5 million to help needy individuals from the September 11th tragedies. The NFL and its players salute these police and fire heroes who risk their lives every day to protect all Americans. You know, guys, we talked about it last week. I mean, clearly in Green Bay.
I have Michael Strahan here. You just presented a check, a $500,000 check to the New York City Firefighters and Police Children and Widows Fund. You guys have given, as Giants, so much more than money as well. You've helped out in the community, going and visiting people. What has that experience been like?
It's been unreal, and I think the response from it has been a lot more than we anticipated and what we feel like we don't deserve, because the real heroes are the firefighters, the police officers, and all the volunteers and all these fans who continue to come out and support us and do what they do. And as players, you're overwhelmed by it, but you don't feel like you deserve it.
Changing gears a little bit, yesterday, 3 sacks you had in the win over the Saints. Was that inspired play?
I think so. When you saw those fans, and it made me realize, hey, I got to give them a good.
Well, one loss on opening night on Monday night, September the 10th, against the Denver Broncos. John Hall to kick off now for the Jets. Third quarter begins. Vinny Sutherland at the 3-yard line. He's a rookie from Purdue. Gets rolled down at the 29 by Ray Meckins. If you're just joining us, a little musical recap of the first 30 minutes. The Niners up by 6, and on first down they begin with Garrison Hurst. Take a look at the numbers for the first 30 minutes of play, and keep in mind too, the 49ers begin this half minus their starting center Newberry with Lynch in the game.
Yeah, it'll be hard for them to match this rushing total right here, averaging almost 6 yards per carry. They were very dominant, pushing the Jets all around. That was a great start for the Jets with Lewis making that tackle. Garcia having a wonderful first half. Not a lot of yardage for those 12 completions, but he does have Terrell Owens involved.
West Coast numbers. Caught, tight end Eric Johnson, and he loses the football. Eric Johnson lost it, and the Jets have it. Tom Barth, the defensive tackle, gets it for the Jets. First turnover tonight.
Eric Johnson with a rookie mistake here, not covering up in traffic. Ferrier looks like he's going to rip it loose with that right hand. Johnson's got to be stronger than that. He can't let a guy pull the ball away from him like this. Great play by the Jets. Just what they needed to give Vinny Testaverde and this offense a short field to go with their short passing game.
Kid out of Yale's got to use his head. Get both arms around it. Hold tight.
49ers first fumble of the season at the 41. Let's see what Vinny does. He'll start conservatively. Curtis Martin. Gain of 1. Let's take a look at the Jet luminaries and how they fared.
Testaverde getting a lot of yards out of those 5 completions. Coles, you can see, had that one big catch in the first half, but Curtis Martin has got to get things going for this Jet offense.
And Corbett has been strangely silent, except for the big catch where he made the nice correction early in the game.
Julian Peterson came limping off, the 49er linebacker, and Terry Killens, number 56, is in his spot on 2nd and 9. Here goes Martin on a draw for a first down, and a 19-yard gain to the 22.
And, you know, he never takes on a defender head up. At that time, Zach Bronson, weak safety, had Curtis. Curtis gave him a little shake, and then he goes up the field. Andre Carter, the young rookie, we saw Eric Johnson make a mistake. Watch, Carter's going to take himself out of the play on this draw. Nice play call by the Jets. Fabini just passes him off. Now watch this move right here. Just to the inside, and Bronson, 31, can't get a good stick on Martin.
1st and 10 at the 22 after the turnover. Curtis again. A yard. Derek Smith makes the tackle.
Well, on that last run, Fabini used as little as he could on Carter when he saw that he didn't really need to take him head on. Carter took himself out.
Well, Curtis Martin, 94 games in the NFL, so we match him up with only ED with more carries over the first 94 games.
He's so consistent, time in and time out, game in, game out. Underrated, the most underrated running back in the NFL.
And he comes out as we speak of him, and Lamont Jordan, rookie from Maryland, there he is, number 2 draft choice is in the game. They swing it out to Coles. He slips a tackle, takes it inside the 15, and is rolled out at the 12-yard line. Broke out of an Anthony Parker tackle.
And you know what he saw when he broke away from Parker? He saw Dana Stubblefield coming at him, and he turned tail and ran to the sideline. Watch from the inside now. He's going to take a look, and there's Stubblefield, 94. That's no match. That turtle will never catch that rabbit.
No, he's got that Rod Smith-like acceleration. He gets it into gear quickly.
That's a first down at the 12-yard line. Jordan still in the game. And here's a look at the rookie. Gets 3 to the 9.
Well, you know, I think Herman Edwards played for years with Wilbert Montgomery and remember the heavy hitting he took over the years. Lamont Jordan, Herman figures if he takes 10 hits a game that Curtis doesn't have to take, that's 160 over the course of the year. Keeps the blush on the Curtis Martin rose, so to speak.
And the thing that Herman really appreciated about Jordan in the preseason, as Curtis is back in the game, he had 50 carries in the preseason and never fumbled once. Very unusual for a rookie.
2nd and 7 from the 9. Martin, the tailback in the eye. Anderson in front of him. Curtis behind Ritchie. Almost to the 5. Curtis Martin, you know, the term underrated is used, I think, too much, but in this case it really applies. Why so, Eric?
One thing, he's not a flashy back. He doesn't have breakaway speed. And sometimes when people think of great running backs, they think of the long runs, the 70 and 80-yard runs. Curtis Martin is not that kind of back. He's an every down kind of back. He's very reliable. He's very durable. But, Al, that doesn't make headlines.
It doesn't. All he does is do his job in among the league leaders every year. A nose for the end zone, 3rd and 4. And Richie Anderson has to reach for it and can't make the catch. He was draped by Jeff Ulbrich.
Well, I think if you want to see the true tale of Curtis Martin's worth, you can see it in the reflected glory, like what has happened to the New England Patriots since he moved on. It's almost an inverted curse of the Bambino. That franchise has been on a slow downhill tread ever since he moved on with Parcells here to the Big Apple.
Very true. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, how in the world did that happen? Patriots rout the Colts. Here's John Hall now for a 24-yard field goal attempt. Earlier, he missed one from 50. And they get 3 off the turnover. So we played 5 minutes now in the second half. And the Jets close to within 3. Monday Night Football being brought to you by Dodge. You can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By Dell, enterprise systems that are easy to build, easy to own, easy as Dell. Marriott, your Marriott awaits. And Zima, clearly refreshing.
On Bradway, new GM for the Jets.
Terry Bradway, new GM of the Jets, and the reason that Herman Edwards is the coach. The two got to know each other when they were both with the Kansas City Chiefs. John Hall, who just kicked a field goal, sends this one to the 1-yard line. The rookie Vinny Sutherland. And Vinny Sutherland, looking for all the world like Tim Dwight, into Jets territory and out of bounds at the 35-yard line, tackled by Nick Ferguson.
And what he looks like Tim Dwight, because he's got that speed to get out to the outside and down the sideline.
Just another Big Ten guy. He's out of Purdue. There's football coming your way this Saturday. Oklahoma coming off that stirring one against Kansas State, against Chris Sims in Texas. Michigan and Penn State, the other regional action here on ABC. That's Saturday afternoon. First down for the Niners after that run back by Sutherland at the Jet 34. And Beasley runs into Garcia, and Garcia covers up. So they run a play with Beasley coming out of the backfield, and they'll take that one out of the playbook.
Well, you can see that he carries infrequently.
Yeah, this doesn't happen very often to the 49ers. It didn't look like Garcia was sure whether that was going to be an underneath handoff or one over the top. Well, it wasn't any kind of handoff.
Garcia hasn't been hit that hard by a Jet tonight.
2nd and 16 at the 40-yard line. Hurst. Looks a lot like the old Garrison. Gain of 9. Let's check in with Eric.
Well, I asked Steve Mariucci, why did he go for it on 4th down the goal line? He said he wanted to keep this crowd out of it and make sure he gets some points on the board. Now, Jeremy Newberry is out with a left ankle injury. He said he does have some concerns with Ben Lynch, who is a very young center. Now, over to Melissa Stark.
All right, Eric, a couple of updates for the Jets. Chad Morton, he sprained his right ankle. It's the same ankle that he injured last week in New England. The x-rays were negative, but he will not return. And for the 49ers, Julian Peterson got his left ankle rolled up on. He's expected to return.
3rd down and 9. Thank you, folks. As Ty Streets makes the catch and takes the ball to the 20-yard line to move the chains.
Isn't it weird that when an x-ray is negative, that's good?
Very good.
The only one is that a George Carlin bit?
Why do you drive on a parkway and park on a driveway?
Let's check out Jeff Garcia's timing. He's a real master of the 5-step drop and letting it go. Nice little bounce there. Really gets his weight behind the ball, and he needs to because he doesn't have a whole lot of weight behind it.
Kevin Barlow now in the game. The rookie running back from Pitt. Ball at the 20-yard line. They give it to Barlow off Beasley's leverage, but only for a yard.
Well, the key to the West Coast offense is the timing of the quarterback's 5-step drop and the precision of the receiver's routes. Check out Montana as he goes back 5, bounces forward, and hits John Taylor in the Super Bowl. How about Steve Young from the left side now, stepping up, finding Jerry Rice in the end zone. And finally, Garcia. All in rhythm, Montana, Young, Garcia, and all 49er touchdowns.
2nd and 9 now at the 19-yard line. Halfway through 3rd quarter. So Beasley, and we're going to assume it was his fault.
Offense. Still 2nd down.
On the botched exchange with Garcia, and then he's in motion here going forward.
I thought you were going to say it was an assumption that he was going forward.
That we know. Yeah.
Yeah, not a good series for Fred. You know, he's battling for playing time with Terry Jackson, who is the all-purpose fullback. He's the thumper. He's the lead blocker. He's important in this offense. He's got to get his head right.
You're right. I'm thinking, Dan, if you have 2 plays like that, that's a concentration thing. Absolutely. Series. 2nd and 14 at the 24-yard line. Garcia stepping up. That's when he's dangerous. Stepping out. He doesn't like to go feet first. He likes to go head first, and he goes down in a heap. Victor Green hits him at the 17.
And the key is really the time that Garcia has to throw and his willingness to find a running lane. Part of the reason is Derek Deese, number 63 right here, working on John Abraham. We haven't called Abraham's name for a tackle or a sack all night long. Deese with a good job there. Remember, he's playing with a bad leg. Garcia's got to get down, though, before he takes that hit from Victor Green.
He might not like the slide, but he better learn how to, because he's pretty spindly to be staying up like that.
3rd down and 7, and Garcia has to take a timeout. Play clock is almost all the way down. Timeout, a big 3rd down and 7 coming up. Bridge spanning the East River between Manhattan and Brooklyn. On this first night of October, temperature low 50s. Big 3rd down play coming up for the 49ers after they take the timeout. 3rd and 7 at the 17-yard line. And Garcia flings in, and it's incomplete, intended for Stokes. Marcus Coleman diving for it in the end zone.
This is where the Jets have been so effective in the red zone so far this season in 2.5 games. Here's Stokes. He's going to try and find a spot in this zone. Garcia just throwing to a spot in the lane there. Lucky it wasn't picked off by Marcus Coleman. But Garcia was expecting Stokes to fill that lane and not Coleman.
Now Cortez for a 35-yarder. And the 49ers, I think, have found themselves a place kicker. Long one at the end of the first half. He's been perfect thus far in the young season, and the Niners are back up on top by 6. A reminder, Wednesday, After My Wife and Kids, it's a series premiere of the new family comedy According to Jim, starring Jim Belushi and Courtney Thorne-Smith. That's Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern and Pacific, 7:30 Central and Mountain, right here on ABC.
So you say after you spend a little time with your wife and kids, you're going to watch that show?
The man Jim Belushi. Of course I am. Good show. So the pilot. Jose Cortez, a very short kick, a one-hopper, fielded by Coles at the 16, and Coles all the way to midfield, where he gets finally rolled down by Jamie Winborn.
Well, Coles is their fallback return man, and he's very prominent.
Jets in business again. So a guy on the street telling me today said, tell Fouts to look out. Flutie's going to break all of his records. 50-yard line, 1st down. Here goes Testaverde, and it is incomplete. Matthew Hatchett got tangled up with the defensive back Ahmed Plummer, but incidental contact and no flag.
You know what struck me yesterday, Al, when I'm watching the games, is you think about the buoyant, good-natured Terrell Davis and Anderson at the Super Bowl years ago, how happy they both were.
Right.
It was their time. Jamal and Terrell, they grew up together. Now both dinged. Jamal goes out yesterday, possibly for the season. Terrell down with knee problems. It's an ephemeral nature here in the NFL.
And right. Jamal Anderson, it's his other knee.
Yeah, he is out for the season. That was declared today by the Falcons. 2nd down and 10 at the 50-yard line. And this is Martin. The other guy who is out for the season, by the way, is Trace Armstrong.
Really?
Who went from Miami to Oakland. And Warwick Dunn is going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks. And Ricky Waters will be as well. Now, this is the 3rd game for each of these teams, as you can see, going back to 1990 when they expanded the playoff format to 12 teams. Look at the 2-1 record. 57% of the time you reach the playoffs. But if you go 1-2, you get there less than once in 4 chances.
So it looks like my Chargers are in at 80%.
Yeah, well, one of these teams will be 2-1. The other's going to be 1-2 at the end of the game tonight. Testaverde started to slip. His back foot gave way. He gets it away, but it's incomplete. Beck never had possession. Hit by Plummer.
Boy, that was a great hit by Plummer. but the play was made by Testaverde. Anthony Beck had no chance, though, because Plummer was just bearing down on him as Beck was trying to bail out his quarterback. Big hit by Ahmed Plummer.
I know, you're talking about an 80-pound differential there, but Ahmad came up and rocked him.
The element of surprise, perhaps.
I see.
Vinny Sutherland to run it back. Good kickoff return. Earlier, Daniel Pope. First game as a Jet. Sutherland's going to let it go and hope it gets to the end zone. But the Jets make a nice play. Kevin Swain, a wide receiver, races down there, keeps the ball from going into the end zone by swatting it back, and Kelvin Moses downs it. And we'll check in with Melissa Stark.
Al, when a head coach gets his first win in the NFL, as Herman Edwards did last week with the Jets win over the Patriots, his players almost always give him the game ball. But before Edwards' players were able to do that, he announced he was giving the ball to the city of New York. Earlier tonight, before the game, he presented it to New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. Edwards said it was obvious that that's where the ball needed to go.
And Herman wearing the fire department cap.
By the way, Al, Pope punted that, and Moses downed it.
Yes. I don't know what that's symbolic of, but the 49ers are starting deep in their own territory. First to the 6-yard line.
They should have gone with a Hail Mary the very next play. This is a heck of a play by the Jets. Perfect punt by Pope because he didn't kick a spiral. He pooched it up in the air. And he was under pressure. The 49ers looked like they were trying to block that one. Here's Swain. Clearly keeps it in play. And number 50 is Moses. He does a great job of hanging on. Almost.
2nd and 6. Hurst. And Hurst takes it all the way out to the 18-yard line. And every time I think of Hurst running against the Jets, you go back to that game in '98 at 3Com Park. It went to overtime, and he made one of the most spectacular runs in the history of the National Football League. 96 yards to win the game.
Well, he showed the quick inside moves. Watch this straight arm here as he just tossed the defensive back. And then the patience to let his lineman catch up to him. This is 96 yards in overtime. Watch the determination to get it all the way. Trust me, he did get it in the end zone.
You know it's a long run when you can't fit the replay in.
1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. And reaching for it and making the catch is J.J. Stokes. Good play.
That was the first catch of the night for Stokes. That was a beauty. You know, he's got to be a little bit more determined after that last pass thrown towards him by Garcia that was almost intercepted by Marcus Coleman.
Stokes, a bit of an enigma over his career. All the talent in the world coming out of UCLA. Only 64 catches over the last 2 seasons, and he played every game.
And 2 plays, and the 49ers are all the way out to the 31. That's an offense.
After they started this back on the 3-yard line, first down. Hurst. You know, guys, it's also the first game since, well, 94, I guess, when the 49ers have not had number 80 on the roster.
Wow.
Mr. Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
Jerry had a nice game yesterday, didn't he?
2 touchdowns. Rams-Lions next week, speaking of great offenses. Rams dominant yesterday against the Lions. Panthers and the 49ers Sunday night on ESPN. So the Niners go home, and they have a pretty soft schedule. So if they can win this one, they have Carolina, at Atlanta, at Chicago, and then Detroit over the next 4 weeks.
Bit of a springboard game.
2nd and 9. There goes Hurst through the middle, and Garrison across the 50 to the New York 49. Tackled by Damian Robinson. So here comes Hurst back after 2 injury-racked seasons. ED, what do you think?
One thing always impressed me about Garrison Hurst is how he runs behind the offensive line, almost hiding. Then he always keeps his feet going, and he always seems to pop out on the other side. Now, I'm really impressed by him tonight. To me, he looks like the Garrison Hurst of old.
He does. 12 carries, 68 yards. He's been a Monday night real primetime player through the years. He has excelled in his appearances on this package. And tonight, another one of those nights where he is averaging almost 6 yards a carry, and Garcia is forced to take a timeout here. his second of the half, so they're down to just one. And there it is, Garrison Hurst on Monday night, averaging 130 yards per game, and among the players in the history of this package, that is number one.
Well, he's definitely making the Garner defection a little more palatable, and when you put Kevin Barlow behind him, he's looked good tonight too. They've got a nice one.
Point that it is going to hold up, and they're not going to have to worry about it anymore.
End around. Owens puts his head down, picks up the first flag down at the 45 of the Jets.
That was a long, very slow developing reverse to Owens, and they're going to get the 49ers for holding. Whenever it takes that long, it's very difficult to maintain your blocks on the outside. Very easy to be tempted to reach out and grab somebody and get called for the holding.
Holding, number 83, offense, beyond the line of scrimmage. Still first down.
I'm always intrigued by Terrell Owens' need to over-celebrate. It seems so strange that he's such an amazing talent. You had the episode in Dallas. He does an end around there for 12 to 15 yards. There's the celebration. It's just amazing. Last week he had 4 drops. He comes out after the game and says he's more valuable than Isaac Bruce. It's just sometimes the gloating's a little much.
After spending an hour in solitary confinement in the locker room, here's Kevin Barlow taking it up to the 48-yard line.
Well, don't you say you're better than Isaac Bruce after the 20-catch game, not the 4-drop game? It just seems to make sense.
Stands to reason.
And you notice how the Jets are trying to stop that inside run. They brought Damian Robinson up from his weak safety position. 8 men in the box there, and that stuffed that inside trap.
I think Terrell actually said he was better than Lenny Bruce. 2nd and 13 from the 48-yard line. Third quarter, winding down. Barlow inside the Jet 40, and the rookie from Pittsburgh to the 31 to wrap up the third quarter. So the Niners are on the move again as we've played 45. End of the third quarter, it was San Francisco leading the New York Jets 16-10. Monday Night Football back after this message from our ABC stations.
It's a hell of a town. Motion, all rice cake drive crumbles. The play of the day is
great for St. Louis and Detroit, but this one, a 6-point game. The Niners leading 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. This drive began at the San Francisco 2. And Garcia buys time. Over the middle throws, and it's incomplete. Trying to get it in there to Fred Beasley. Let's take a look at the numbers for the first 3 quarters.
49ers are just doing an outstanding job on the ground. 182 yards rushing, 6.5 yards per carry. And both Garrison Hurst and Kevin Barlow. Barlow has 69 yards rushing. Hurst right 1 yard behind him. And, of course, when you run the ball like that, you're going to have a big edge in first downs.
Terry Beasley just completed the unfortunate trifecta there with that drop.
2nd down and 10. Instead of left half. Barlow knifes his way to the 21-yard line. Here's Melissa.
Alan, update on 49ers center Jeremy Newberry. He had x-rays on his left ankle. They were negative, but he will not return. Let's go over to Eric.
They're doing a very good job with their running game tonight. What the 49ers are doing is they're running the traps inside. Then they'll turn around and start running outside, which makes the big defensive tackles have to start running outside. Then they'll go back and run the traps inside again. So what they're doing is they're literally wearing down this Jets defense.
And they're really wearing them down on this drive, which started at the San Francisco 2, now gets to the 20-yard line. And this will be the 11th play of the drive with 8 runs and 2 passes. And here's your 9th run. And this is Barlow banging to the 17, tackled by Damian Robinson.
And that's not a good sign for a defense when your free safety is having to come up and make touchdown-saving tackles time and again. Eric had it right. I mean, their old defense, Ted Cottrell right now, they don't know whether to guard the middle or to guard the flanks. And right now, Mariucci and Greg Knapp, the Niner offensive coordinator, watch for a play action now because they've been running the ball so effectively. Perfect time now to fake it and to go up top.
6.3 again, as we point out over and over. 4.0, 4.1 year after year. the league average. 2nd and 7. Hurst is back in the game, but there's a whistle before the play.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 81, offense. Still 2nd down.
You know, Al, Teddy Cottrell's an interesting choice to institute this 4-3 here in New York because he's been up there in Buffalo for the last few years, working that gap control 3-4 that the Bills have been so famous for. Sort of the antithesis of the Tampa Bay mentality.
Well, what's fascinating here is that Cottrell actually interviewed for the head coaching job, which Edwards got, and Herman, of course, used to the 4-3 with Tampa and Tony Dungy. He went with Cottrell and he said, "Can you teach the 4-3?" And Cottrell said, "Sure." 2nd down and 12 from the 21-yard line. And this is Hurst bunched up.
And much like the Jets offense is a hybrid of the West Coast and what the Jets have done in the past with Curtis Martin, the defense is the same type of situation. You'll see the 4-3 Tampa Bay style or Herman Edwards style on normal down and distance situations. Then when they get into the passing situations, Cottrell likes to bring the pressure. We saw Marvin Jones earlier in the game, but right now the Jets have got to bring pressure to put some 49ers in a position where they won't be successful on this 3rd and long.
Big play. 3rd down 9. 3rd and 10. Make it to the 20-yard line. Garcia protected well. Caught. Owens. Can he get the 1st down? Puts his head down and comes close.
No, he should gloat on that one. If he picks this 1st down up.
This is why he's so dangerous, because with his size and determination, he runs angry. Watch the catch on the outside. But now the determination and the head down right here, knowing he's got to get under the tacklers and fall forward if he's going to have any chance of picking up this 1st down, which he did.
He picks it up at the 10.
Got to feel good picking that one up low because that's where a few of his drops were last week, down low.
Nose of the ball is right on the 10, so they cannot get a 1st down without a touchdown. 1st and goal. Hurst to the 9. 11.5 remaining in regulation. ESPN Sports Center, all the highlights of tonight's game, reports from around the NFL at midnight Eastern and 9 o'clock Pacific.
If I could just meet Dan Patrick, do you know how happy I'd be?
You've met him. We were on a bus with him last year.
Just winding him up a little. Is that the bus I stole?
2nd down goal at the 9-yard line. Garcia keeping it and dragged down inside the 5 by John Abraham.
And it took all of John Abraham's speed to get Garcia by an ankle. Or Garcia gets in the end zone. Abraham a little slow getting up, might have fallen on the back of Garcia. It's a beautiful fake here. Inside trap play. Garcia comes outside. He thinks he's got something going. He never saw Abraham coming from behind. But this is the hustle. This is why John Abraham's going to be a star in this league. Never quits on a play.
Meanwhile, Scott Gregg, the starting tackle, has gone back to the locker room. Willig is in there. So you have 2 subs along the offensive front and 200 yards rushing. And Garcia gets sacked. Big play by James Reed, a rookie from Iowa State, 7th-round draft choice.
Not bad for picking up your first NFL sack on a Monday night and keeping the 49ers out of the end zone. 93 is James Reed. There he is right over the nose. Garcia appeared to be running away from the pocket that time, right into the arms of James Reed.
Now Jose Cortez, 29-yard attempt. He's made them from 19, 49, 35, and that one is good. Appeared to be tipped the way it wobbled, the way it floated, and Shane Burton might have gotten maybe a finger on it. A 9-point lead, and Garcia is shaken up. Bob Patterson, premier event, is here. America's #3 self-help guru has inspired millions. Now his life will make millions more. Bob Patterson, Tuesday, also known as tomorrow, 9 Eastern and Pacific, 8 Central, right here on ABC. Jose Cortez. Short kick. This is Coles at the 11-yard line. And the dangerous Lavernius Coles Tries to get around the corner, and as he does, he is banged out of bounds, and that precipitates flags as Jose Cortez is the guy who roughs him out of bounds.
Well, Cortez is a big kicker. 205 pounds, having a heck of a night with 4 field goals. You go, what, me? I'm a kicker. They can't call this on me.
Personal foul.
Oh, yes, they can.
Unnecessary roughness. Number 6 of the kicking team. Late hit out of bounds.
And so the time of possession here in the second half as the catch is made by Anthony Beck, and he takes the ball to the 49 or 44.
Well, you know, in Vinny's defense, I think the events of the last 3 weeks have hit him as hard as anybody. He seems really to be involved in the community. Obviously, it's touched him on a deep level, and I think he's almost running on vapors emotionally.
But the one thing about Vinny is he knows how to close a game. Down by 9 right now. That penalty by Cortez gave the Jets life and good field position.
Does he ever know how to close the game? Just go back to Monday Night Football about a year ago against Miami right here. Down 30-7 were the Jets. The Monday Night Miracle. They won in overtime, 40-37. The catch is made for a first down by Richie Anderson. Well, we were here last year. Miami was totally dominant. Jets looked lethargic. And then all of a sudden, there was Lavernius Coles. Then he got red hot. Crevette made a great catch in the end zone. And then of all people, Jumbo Elliott. John Hall won it in overtime.
I think we got out of here at 3 o'clock that night, didn't we?
Back to the hotel about 3:15. First and 10 at the 39-yard line. Martin picks up 2. Let's go to Melissa.
Vinny Testaverde went down to ground zero a few days after the attack to visit with rescue workers, and when he left, he took a chunk of cement with him from the debris. He plans on keeping it. He even shared it with his teammates as a reminder of what happened and of what the commitment that these workers are making. It holds special significance for Testaverde because his father, who passed away 2 years ago, was a cement mason who actually helped build the Twin Towers.
Benny, Long Island born and raised. Second down and 9 from the 38-yard line. And that's incomplete as Beck turned upfield before he looked it into his hands.
And if he makes this catch, he's got a lot of yardage. Comes off the line of scrimmage, just a short down and out route, hits him right in the chest and down to the ground. I look at the room he might have had if he makes this catch, and I wonder if Andre Carter might have gotten a fingertip on that ball. I don't think so, because that ball was still having velocity when it hit him in the chest.
3rd and 9 from the 38. Vinny gets sacked. Ball is alive and it is loose. And the Jets have it. And Andre Carter came in, and there's the first sack of his career. The #1 draft choice out of Cal. And there's Pops on the other sideline, Ruben.
Smiling a little.
Let's check out Andre working against Anthony Beck, and he goes right by Beck. Beck can't even hold him out. So Beck has 2 terrible plays back-to-back, dropping a sure first down pass and then letting Carter get in with the sack and the fumble.
Well, it'll show you the growing pains of a young player in this league between Beck, Ellis, and Abraham. All 3 #1s. All 3 have had a bit of a rough night.
Daniel Pope to punt. Angled floating kick. Sutherland at the 16 with not a lot of room as he was pinned against the sideline. And he brings it back out to the 24-yard line. 6:45, and now it's really incumbent on Carter's defensive line and the linebackers to stop the 49er running game and get the ball back. They're down by 9. Back at the Meadowlands Giant Stadium. Next week to the Silverdome we go. Indoors, Rams-Lions on Monday Night Football. First of 3 appearances this season by the Rams. From the 24 now, can the Niners chew up the clock? Did he get on the ground? And this is Hurst, and he breaks free. And he picks up a first down all the way up to the 37. Let's check in with Melissa again.
Alan, injury update on 49ers offensive tackle Scott Gregg. He suffered a right hip pointer, went inside, got it iced down. Now he is back. He's back in the game. We'll see if it affects him.
So there is Gregg, former Giant. Willig was in on the last series, and of course Newberry is gone for the night. And the good news about Newberry, of course, the x-rays were negative, but
looks like Missy's doing something a little different with the coif tonight, huh? A little flip in it, like Watergate lawyer John Dean's wife, Mo.
Maurice Dean. I haven't thought of that name in 15 years. This is Hurst. Up to the 46-yard line. Stays in bounds.
Well, the 49ers and their offensive line is just, and Garrison Hurst and Kevin Barlow, they're embarrassing the Jets right now. Barlow averaging about 9 yards per carry. Hurst out of the backfield as a receiver has 3 catches. And now Hurst is 8 yards shy of picking up 100 yards. And this offensive line, true 49er offensive line tradition, guys filling in off the bench.
Hurst wasn't much better than this before the 4th surgery. I mean, he looks great.
2nd and 1 from the 45. Here's Hurst, and he gets dragged down, but he fights through an Abraham tackle to at least come close to picking up the first down.
And that's an example of being embarrassed as a defense. Abraham has Hurst in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. But Hurst is strong enough to drag Abraham almost to a first down. Domination by the 49er running backs and great confidence. Abraham's 94. He's got him right there. He's being blocked in the back by Gregg, but still the leg drive of Garrison Hurst is good enough to bring up this measurement.
Take a look at the measurement. You know what I'm thinking about, guys, is as they measure and they're a little short. Around the country in agatype, you'll see something like New York Jets lose Jason Ferguson, and not a lot of people think about it unless you're a die-hard Jets fan. But take a look at the nose tackle, what used to be the nose tackle in the 3-4. When Ferguson has played over the last 2.5 seasons or 2 seasons plus, they're 14-10 without him in the middle. 4-6, and look at the yards per game rushing. And here's a case where this guy is hurt, but he was such a key part of that defensive line.
He plays the Warren Sapp position in the Herman Edwards / Tampa Bay defense. Without him, you're seeing the results.
3rd down and inches at the 47-yard line. And they give it to Beasley, and Beasley across the 50 to the 48. That's a first down, tackle by Marvin Jones.
There you go, Beazer. That's got to make you feel a little better. Wow, am I that boring?
No, but
don't answer that. I don't want any answers.
The Jets offense is, Dennis, not you.
You know, we got San Francisco up to 233 rushing yards now as it flips as I'm looking at the screen. Seems like everybody's running the West Coast offense except them. They've gone to the power run attack.
At the 48-yard line, Owens in motion. Hurst. You know, Dan, I'm thinking of the 49ers, and clearly they were on the precipice. Everybody thought they were going to fall off the end of the earth, and then they finally did. I mean, that's the Steve Young career ender did it. But all of a sudden, this team is on its way back. And tonight, well, this is a pretty good litmus test at this point. Timeout flag football showdown and the final event at the old Mile High Stadium. You'll see it on ESPN tomorrow at 7 Eastern time. Well, the Jets just took a timeout. They have to conserve some of the clock here, and they also have to stop the Niners from getting a first down. It is 2nd and 11. San Francisco up by 9, and there's movement on the right side of the line.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 78, offense.
Scott Gregg. Dan, we were talking about where the Niners are as a team, and I think they have begun I think they've hit bottom. They've been in salary cap hell for the last 2 years, and that will continue for maybe another year. But this team is clearly ascending again.
And it's behind the leadership of Jeff Garcia. He's given them confidence from the quarterback position. And now to build upon this unbelievable night of running the ball on the ground, they may have found a running back in Kevin Barlow and rediscovered one in Garrison Hurst.
Second down and 16. And this is Hurst. And he gets taken down by Marvin Jones, and the Jets are compelled to use another timeout.
Well, you know, Jeff Garcia and Steve Mariucci.
No, they don't.
They didn't take it. They might lead this team, but you got to give it to Bill Walsh. His last draft, 2000 draft, all 11 players still with the team. Granted, Gio Carmazzi on IR, but Billy Walsh, a genius.
Next 4 games, Panthers next Sunday night.
Did he say Billy Walsh?
Billy Walsh.
I'm sorry.
At Atlanta, at Chicago, and then Detroit at home.
I'll tell you one thing about Bill Walsh. Now that I've called him a genius, he thinks I'm a genius.
Not if you call him Billy, he doesn't.
3rd and 15. First on a draw. He gets tackled to the 50, and now the Jets take a timeout. And they will have 1 remaining. And they have 2:41. If ever a team would look for a block punt, this is it. And Dan, you're looking at 2 special teams coaches who are new with their respective teams, but have known each other a long time.
They've faced each other 33 times.
Mike Westhoff, Bruce DeHaven. Aaron Glenn is back to fair catch it, and he fields it at the 16-yard line. DeHaven for many years at Buffalo, and then on to San Francisco. And Westhoff spent 14 seasons with the Dolphins and just joins the staff here. And there is Mike.
Mike really thought they had a chance of blocking that one. The 49ers use a zone cup type of protection, and Ferguson came real close to getting a finger on that one. Good job by the punter Baker to get rid of that one.
So now the Jets in need of 2 scores. They have 84 yards to the end zone here. 2:34 and 1 timeout plus the 2-minute warning. And Benny starts with Corbett. And Corbett seeks the sideline and finds it up at the 39-yard line. Nice gain there. 1st and 10 at the 39.
Seems like Corbett is always kicking off these miracle comebacks.
Well, he's going to have to, because he's just an infectious type of player. He plays with such great enthusiasm, and he's still got the speed after the catch to run away from defenders, get down the sidelines, get out of bounds, stop the clock.
23-yard gain, 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. Incomplete.
Remember earlier in the game when we saw Vinny go back and really set his feet and throw that out route? That time he went back and he just kept drifting. That's why the ball came up short to Coles on the outside. Never really set his feet and bounced forward, as we've seen Jeff Garcia and what the West Coast quarterbacks have got to do in this offense. Watch, he hits his right foot and he's still fading away from the throw and not into it.
2nd and 10, ball at the 39-yard line. Benny downfield and getting open and making the catch at the 34 is Matthew Hatchett, the ex-Viking, who gets into the action to the 32-yard line.
But Matthew Hatchett's got to know where the sideline is. Make that catch, turn to the left, go out of bounds, save some of this precious time before the 2-minute warning.
But he didn't. So they have the 2-minute warning and only 1 timeout left. And they need 2 scores, down by 9. At the Chrysler Building, we can tell you that ABC's Monday Night Football is brought to you by EDS. EDS managing the complexities of the digital economy. Burger King, home of the Whopper. Universal Pictures, K-Pax, Kevin Spacey, spread it out as they come up to the line. Martin stays in the block. Reaching for it was Coles, but he couldn't hold it in. 2nd and 10.
Interesting situation now for Testaverde with this offense. Calling the plays upstairs.
2nd and 10 at the 32. 4-man rush. Underneath Martin inside the 20. and gets neck tackled at the 13-yard line.
Well, that's always a nice choice when you're in doubt. Go to Curtis Martin.
Yeah, the screen was a perfect call by Hackett. Give the ball to your best player.
Put it at the 12. First down. Vinny over the middle. And this is Beck making the catch. He takes it to the 5. It'll be 2nd down and 2.
But that's too short a pass. You got from this part of the field, you got to throw the ball in the end zone. You make a catch, you score. This takes 30 seconds to eat off the clock.
Under 120. Vinny to the end zone, and Coles can't make the catch. It looks like he'd come down with it, covered by Ahmed Plummer.
Well, you talk about a great play by a defensive back. Plummer never looked for the ball, but he saw Coles reach for it. He got his right hand in between both of Coles' hands. Watch Plummer here. Knows the fade is coming. When Coles reaches, look at that right hand, knocking it away. Beautiful play by Plummer.
That's the second time tonight we've seen Ahmed stay with it all the way and knock it out at the last instant.
3rd down, short 3 from the 5. They give it to Martin. Curtis, does he get in? He does not get in, but he has the first down. It's 1st and goal. But it costs him precious seconds.
This wouldn't be a bad place for Testaverde to just sneak it forward. 6'5", 230 pounds. He should be able to get it in.
Instead, they throw a fade and going inside when the pass was outside to Kevin Swain.
Well, in essence, stopping the clock.
Well, this is part of the growing pains of learning a new offense. Not only are you learning it in normal down and distance situation, you're learning it in the hurry up. You're learning it in the goal line. There's a lot that goes into this offense, and the Jets plainly are struggling with it right now. That was a very strange play call right there.
But if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's just like spiking it, right?
Now you give the ball to Curtis behind Laverne right now, Dennis.
Martin, the tailback. There's Laverne, the lineman, playing fullback. And on 2nd and goal, they give it to Mr. Martin. And he's in. Touchdown. So 50 seconds and then an onside kick.
And the Jets still have 1 timeout remaining. How important would it have been for Matthew Hatchett to get out of bounds before that 2-minute warning? Would have saved the Jets a heck of a job. Derek Smith tried to go over the top, and Curtis Martin barely gets the ball across the plane.
John Hall to pull to within 2. And it's 19-17, and now it all comes down to who recovers the outside.
DeHaven encouraging his guys to keep an eye on Whitecheck.
And Westhoff saying, remember, you got to stay on sides.
Ball has to go 10 yards or be touched by a 49er before the Jets can touch it. Has to get to the 40. Yellow line is at the 40. John Hall. A little kangaroo hopper, but covered up at the 41-yard line. A one-hopper into the hands of Terry Jackson, a very valuable special teams guy. And there he is at a moment in time when you have to recover. He does.
And the perfect recovery by Jackson. That's why he's the 49ers' best special teams player. Hall was looking for one more bounce. It was a one-hopper. He needed 2. There it is, and it skid along the ground. This ground is very wet. Rained here all day yesterday. Nice recovery by Terry Jackson and a Niner win.
Well, for the 49ers, one way to make a long coast-to-coast red-eye trip a lot more palatable is to go home with a win. So they'll get home deep into the night. Edwards is going to take the final timeout, but the Jets 236 rushing yards allowed, the most since the Oilers, now the Titans, in 1996. 1917. Next week, of course, we'll take a look at Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, and the Rams off to a roaring start at 3-0, the first of 3 Monday night appearances for the Rams. And they'll be in Detroit, where the Lions try to get on track at the Silverdome.
You know, Al, I just can't get enough of watching Marshall Faulk. The most exciting player. I don't care if he's catching the ball out of the backfield or out wide as a wide receiver. He is the best running back, most exciting player in the league.
They're just a treat to watch. I mean, the Rams are they are the best show in football. There's no question.
If you're beating up on Surtain and Sam Madison, you're beating on the best corner tandem in the league yesterday.
Well, the Jets lose to the 49ers, so San Francisco now goes to 2-1. Clearly a team, as we say, ascending. The Jets, though, Dan, I don't know. I don't know where they are right now. They're not ascending. I know that.
They were embarrassed tonight, both on offense and on defense. Great win for Mariucci's young 49er team.
The Jets go trudging off the field. We'll have the Olive Garden play of the game when we come back.